The wedding was a lively affair. The newlyweds exuded love and happiness. The guests reveled with abandon. The tables groaned with delicious treats, and toasts filled the air. At one of the tables, an already tipsy 40-something man named Andrew persistently offered his neighbor Alla various dishes, accompanying each one with verses of his own composition. However, the woman politely refused his advances and even declined his invitation to dance, citing a headache as an excuse. She even went to the ladies' room, hoping that Andrew would find someone else to entertain, but he had no intention of doing so. Alla regretted that the guests were seated randomly. While the young couple wanted their families to get acquainted quickly, for the godmother of the bride, interacting with her newfound relatives was burdensome. Hiding in the restroom for too long seemed foolish, so Alla emerged just as the MC announced another contest. She made her way to the center of the circle, determined to entertain her beloved goddaughter, even if it was difficult for her to join in the revelry. After receiving well-deserved applause for her excellent song dedication, Alla returned to her table. However, her neighbor was persistent. She disliked his constant refilling of his glass, his attempts at conversation, and his poorly composed verses. Meanwhile, Andrew pushed a plate of fruit towards her. "Here are the oranges. Here are the vitamins. Don't be shy, eat up, my beauty Alka," he slurred, laughing drunkenly. "This is disgusting," exclaimed Alla in disgust, quickly getting up from the table. For some reason, the other guests didn't seem to notice what had just happened. Some were chatting, others were dancing, some were preparing for the next contest, and some had gone for a walk. Alla rushed outside, leaving her jacket on the back of her chair. Her cheeks were burning, and her heart was pounding furiously. "I hate oranges and drunks," she exclaimed, putting all her indignation and anger into the rush of air. "Perhaps you have a long-standing allergy to both." She heard a voice next to her and jumped in surprise. Alla was so consumed by her emotions that she didn't even notice that someone else was standing on the porch. She turned to the speaker, expecting to see a mocking look and a smile. But the man clearly had no intention of laughing at her. He extended his hand and introduced himself. "I'm Artem, the driver, and also the groom's uncle. And I'm Alla, the godmother of the bride. Please excuse me, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't think anyone was here." "No problem, but who angered you so much?" "I got stuck with a very pushy neighbor at the table. He's a drinker and a poet to boot." "He looks like Andrew Yuka," he remarked. "But don't worry, he won't bother you anymore. I'll have a chat with him. He's actually a decent guy, but he shouldn't drink. Usually, his wife keeps an eye on him at events, but she's on duty tonight. Would you like a barberry candy?" He changed the subject abruptly. "What?" Alla asked, puzzled. "It's nice to wander around with a candy in your mouth and keep an extra one in your pocket for a friend, just in case," Artem sang as he handed Alla a handful of candies. "Don't worry, I'm sober. It's just a song from a kid's cartoon." "Oh, I remember that song about Funtic. Thank you." Alla took a candy. "You know what? I love barberry candies more than oranges." They both chuckled. As they were talking, a taxi pulled up to the cafe, and a stylish woman got out and greeted them warmly. She exchanged a few words with Artem and then went inside. "That's Tamara," Artem exclaimed. "Looks like my intervention won't be needed. I hope you'll give her your seat and join me at my table." Alla happily agreed, and Andrei, under his wife's watchful gaze, was diligently eating and drinking mineral water. He then read her some new poetry. "We may not be a Twix, but we're not a bad couple. Don't be angry, smile, my dear Tamara." The wedding festivities continued. "Look, they seem to have found common ground. I'm so happy. The godmother deserves to be happy," the young wife chattered into her new husband's ear. "You're quite the matchmaker," he replied. "They just met and you're already marrying them off. They'll figure it out on their own. Let's go dance." 2 months later, on their next date, Artem proposed to Alla, but she asked him not to rush things. Alice started by saying, "There's something I need to tell you first. I'm a widow. 2 years ago, my husband died of carbon monoxide poisoning while he was drunk at a friend's dacha. He closed the damper on the stove too soon, and it ended up being fatal." Artem responded, "Yes, I already knew that. But what does that have to do with anything? Or do you still have feelings for him?" "It's not about that," Alla replied, taking a moment to collect herself. "He wasn't alone when he died. He was with another woman. At the time, I was in the hospital recovering from a miscarriage. Every day, he would bring me oranges with a smile during his lunch break to help me recover quickly. The other women in my hospital room envied me for having such a loving and caring husband. But it turns out he was cheating on me. It all came out so terribly and foolishly. Since then, I hate oranges." Subscribe to our channel not to miss new interesting life stories. Give us your likes, write your opinion in the comments.